What if the person you trust most is the one who destroys everything? A quiet farm, a simple life, a terrible secret buried deep underground. 1922 isn't just another horror movie, it's a confession, soaked in guilt, madness, and rats. Today, we're diving into 1922, a slow-burning horror drama that crawls under your skin and never lets go. It's a Netflix original, but what many don't know is that it's based on a lesser-known novella by Stephen King, from his dark and disturbing collection, Full Dark, No Stars. This isn't about ghosts jumping out of closets. It's about how guilt can rot a man's mind, piece by piece. We'll explore the chilling story, break down its deeper meanings, and reveal some hidden details you probably missed. By the end of this video, you'll understand why 1922 is one of the most underrated Stephen King adaptations out there. So if you're a fan of psychological horror with a slow, suspenseful build, stay with us. You won't just get a summary, you'll feel the weight of the story and what makes it truly terrifying. Welcome to Movies Review, where we uncover the mind behind the madness. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we dig deep into 1922. The story of 1922 begins in the empty, endless farmlands of Nebraska. It's the kind of place where nothing seems to change. Time moves slowly, the sky is wide, and the only sound is the wind rustling through the corn. This quiet, lonely setting plays a huge role in building the mood of the film. It creates a feeling of being stuck, of isolation, and of something dark hiding beneath the surface. The land feels alive, and in a way it becomes part of the story. The main character is Wilfred James. He's a hard-working farmer who loves his land more than anything. To him, the land isn't just dirt. It's his pride, his power, and his future. He believes that a man's identity is tied to the soil he works. Wilfred is not a gentleman. He's serious, quiet, and strict. He believes in staying put, in doing things the old-fashioned way, and in controlling what's his. His wife, Arlette, sees things differently. She hates farm life. She wants something more: money, freedom, and a chance to live in the city. She inherited some of the land and now wants to sell it and move away. This puts her in direct conflict with Wilfred. She's bold, outspoken, and tired of being stuck in a life she didn't choose. She sees the farm as a prison. Then there's Henry, their teenage son. He's caught in the middle. He loves both his parents, but they're pulling him in different directions. He's in love with a local girl, and he doesn't want to move away. But he also sees the tension at home and wants peace. This family triangle, father, mother, and son, is full of pressure. The land, the choices, and the stubbornness of each character turn this story into a slow-building storm. The biggest problem in 1922 isn't the murder. It starts long before that. It begins with a disagreement, one that feels simple at first, but quickly becomes deadly. Wilfred wants to stay on the farm. Arlette wants to sell the land and leave. They each own half of the property. Wilfred refuses to sell his part, but if Arlette sells hers, everything changes. The land could be broken up or used for something else. His way of life would be destroyed. To Wilfred, this isn't just a fight with his wife, it's a threat to his entire world. He feels like everything he's worked for is slipping away. He believes that the land is the only thing that keeps his family strong. If it's sold, they'll lose their roots. He fears the city will change them, especially Henry, and most of all, he fears losing control. Arlette doesn't care. She wants out. She has plans and dreams that don't involve cows, corn, or a husband who won't listen. The arguments between them get worse. Wilfred grows colder. Arlette becomes more determined. Henry is stuck in the middle, watching his parents drift further apart. What makes the conflict so painful is that both have reasons for their choices. But in Wilfred's eyes, there's no middle ground. He starts to believe that there's only one way to stop his wife. This is where the story takes its darkest turn. Wilfred decides that the only way to protect the farm and keep his son with him is to kill Arlette. But he knows he can't do it alone. So he begins to manipulate Henry. He plays on the boy's emotions. He says if Arlette leaves, she'll take Henry away too. He says they'll lose the farm, the girl Henry loves, and their whole life. Slowly, Wilfred turns his son into an accomplice. They wait until night. Arlette is drunk. She falls asleep. Wilfred and Henry kill her, brutally, silently, and quickly. It's not a clean act. It's ugly and raw, and it changes everything. They hide her body in an old dry well behind the barn. They dump it in and cover it with boards. They tell the neighbors she left. They pretend everything is fine, but things are not fine. The murder is the turning point of the story. From here, things begin to rot. Not just the body, but their lives, their minds, and their future. The land doesn't feel like home anymore. It feels cursed. The silence of the farm becomes heavy, and the rats begin to appear, chewing through more than just wood and flesh. Wilfred thinks that by killing his wife he's solved the problem, but he's wrong, very wrong. The guilt begins to eat at him. It's not immediate, but it builds. He starts to hear things, see things. The rats keep coming. They're not just animals. They feel like a punishment, like a dark force sent to remind him of what he did. They crawl through the house, scratch at the walls, and gnaw at his sanity. Henry isn't doing any better. The murder shatters him. He becomes distant. He can't sleep. He's haunted by what he's done. His relationship with his girlfriend falls apart. He runs away. He makes bad choices. It's like the murder took something from both of them, not just Arlette, but their ability to live like normal people. They're ghosts walking through their own lives. Wilfred writes a confession, but it's not to free himself. It's to try and understand what went wrong. He's alone, broken and lost. The farm starts to fall apart. The animals die. The land becomes dry and useless. The home that once meant everything to him turns into a tomb. As time passes, Wilfred's life crumbles. Everything he tried to protect, the farm, his son, his identity, slips through his fingers. The isolation becomes unbearable. There's no one to talk to, no one to help. The rats never leave. The memories won't fade, and the guilt only grows stronger. His physical world mirrors his mental state. The farm rots, the house falls apart, the barn is empty. Wilfred himself begins to look like a walking corpse, hollow eyes, thin frame, sunken cheeks. It's as if the land is punishing him. Everything he valued is gone. Henry's story ends in tragedy. He becomes an outlaw. His girlfriend dies. He dies young. Wilfred is left to watch it all fall apart, knowing that it began with one choice, one terrible night. The consequences are not quick, they're slow and cruel, like the land itself. Wilfred's final days are filled with hallucinations. He sees Arlette, he hears voices. The past doesn't just haunt him, it surrounds him. It becomes his world. And in the end, he understands the truth. He didn't own the land. The land owned him. And it took everything in return. 1922 isn't just a horror movie. It's a story about guilt, regret, and decay. It's about how one choice, one crime, can destroy everything. The film explores what happens when someone clings too tightly to pride and power. Wilfred didn't just kill his wife, he killed his future. And the film makes sure we feel every bit of that destruction. The rats are one of the most powerful symbols in the movie. They're everywhere. In the house, in the walls, in Wilfred's mind. They represent guilt. They're the physical form of what's eating away at him. No matter how many he kills, they keep coming. Just like his memories. The isolation of the Nebraska farmland mirrors Wilfred's inner world. There are no neighbors close by, no friends, no help. It's just him, the empty land, and his own madness. This isolation turns his guilt into a prison. The movie also shows how stubbornness and pride can ruin lives. Wilfred couldn't let go of the land. He chose power over love, control over peace. And in the end, he paid the price. Thomas Jane gives one of his best performances as Wilfred James. He completely disappears into the role. His voice, his posture, his expressions. Everything is carefully crafted. He makes us believe this is a man from 1922, a man broken by time and guilt. His narration carries the film. You can hear the pain in his voice, the regret, the fear. The pacing of the movie is slow, but it's meant to be. This isn't a fast horror movie with loud scares. It's a quiet, crawling story. The fear builds slowly, like a sickness. The horror comes from the mind, from the soul, not from monsters or killers. Visually, the film is bleak and grey. The cornfields are dry, the skies are cloudy, the house is dim and cold. Every shot feels heavy. There's no colour, no joy, no escape. The atmosphere matches the tone perfectly. It's like watching a nightmare unfold in slow motion. 1922 is not for everyone. It's slow, it's dark, and it leaves you with a heavy feeling. But for those who stay with it, it offers something rare, a deep, haunting look into the human mind. It's about choices, consequences, and the ghosts we create ourselves. It's one of the most underrated Stephen King adaptations. It doesn't rely on big moments or flashy scares. Instead, it tells a quiet horror story that sticks with you. It reminds us that real horror doesn't always come from the outside. Sometimes it comes from within. If you like psychological stories that dig deep into guilt and madness, this film is worth watching. And now that you know the full story, you'll see even more meaning in every scene.